Hey, it's June the 5th, 2018. And, y'all, I wanted to share some ponderings, real briefly. Some ponderings that I was overhearing from the great Maitre Mark, master of ponderings and other things. I began to ponder, and I wanted to share some of those ponderances with y'all. Before I get into it, I'd like to say that, man, your influence on things on this world, it can't be measured. There's no way of measuring it. So it's, I think, perhaps best to not even think about it. Some people, they want to be famous for some reason. I don't know. But they want to be famous, and perhaps it has a lot to do with the influence that they want to have on the world. You're not in control of that, right? And it's untold, like, you can't really measure it as well. The influence that you might have. I mean, people want to be famous and stuff like that, but I don't see why they would want to be famous. When you could send people, all sort of a world of creatures, to include little dogs, joy from across the world. You have that kind of influence to send them tennis balls, and they'll love them. All right, they might not know who you are, but you sent them tennis balls one time. It makes you feel real good. I mean, I feel real good. All right, to know that a dog's playing around with tennis ball just because I suggested that would happen across the world. All right. I want to get that out there. Who would want to be famous? What's the point of being famous? All right, you can't really, the influence that you have on the world, you'll never know. You'll never ever know. Unspeakable, untold amounts of influence is what you have already put on the world. Trust me. And you're going to continue to influence the world in unspeakable ways, in immeasurable ways. All right, there's no way that you can know. All that you can know really is that you might perhaps want to have a good influence. You might want to be a good one. All right, some people ain't. And, all of us fall short. All of us fall. But, anyways, we were talking about ponderings. All right. Mark, he brought up some things from out of the scriptures, some things, some words that came across. Now, when we're reading the scriptures and things of this nature, certain things are going to stand out to us more than other things. And we're all individuals, so we're going to read it differently. Certain things are going to stand out to some of us, and certain things are going to stand out to others of us. He's talking about God's skins, and he's talking about skins. He's talking about one book of, I think it was Jeshurun, or something like this. I think I remember. There's a couple of different names that are, but I think I remember he's talking about. I never read the book. I never read that book. But he's talking about that it was bringing up God's skins, and he's thinking about skins. And I gotta admit, I remember, the clothing of Adam and Eve because they were embarrassed by their nakedness and stuff like this. And, I always just kind of, I guess, for whatever reason, pictured that they had, like, animal skins. But I don't know why they would have animal skins on them. Now that I think about it, technically, God could make the skins out of whatever he would want anyways. But I always just picture, like, those animal skins that, you see cavemen in or whatever. Gave them some skins, hide their nakedness. Then again, you can't. I mean, that technically could be up for interpretation as to what that means exactly. I mean, do we know that they were animal skins? Do we know that they look like cavemen and stuff like this? How would we know that? It's kind of up for speculation as to whether or not it's a literal. What he means is literally that he gave them these clothes. I mean, I guess you would think you would suppose he literally gave them clothes, but could it be a metaphorical thing as well? I don't know. But Mark, he's talking about these God skins that, or these skins particularly that were given to Adam and Eve and then, passed on down to this and that person, all right? People who have covenant with God and stuff. So they were given these skins and then they were passed down, these skins, perhaps, it's just a pondering. Perhaps these skins were pondered down. Now, like I said, it's the first time I ever really thought about it in that sense. I never really thought about it, so this is very elementary, the thought processes, but I have some ponderings as well. All right, I mean, let's think about what if there were these two God skins. I mean, technically speaking, God could create however many skins he wants, if he wanted to. But let's imagine what if there was only like one or two or three or four, I don't know, how many God skins, all right? Let's imagine a situation, if we're all pondering. God throws in these God skins, these couple of God skins that get passed down to this and that person, maybe they get stolen. I don't know what happens with the God skins, but let's say only a couple different people have them, right, in the whole world. Well, I like to think of technically how our society works, the structure of it, and to note that there's some people out there you don't mess with. You already know on a community basis, on a statewide basis, on a national basis, you know that there's characters out there, there's cats out there you do not want to mess with, because if you mess with them, they will ruin your day, dude. Like they're not playing around. There's people out there in high places, you might say, who they have all sort of, I mean, they play a dangerous game, but at the same time, man, they have a certain untouchableness about them, all right? They have a certain sort of untouchableness. If you catch my drift, like politicians and this and that, a lot of times, you know, they don't live in the kind of nitty gritty world that out here and stuff. They're a little bit more protected. There's certain people is more protected than other people, and I'm not hating on anybody. That's whatever. But there are certain people who are more protected than other people. However, it's a dangerous game that we all play and stuff out here in this world. And so, you know, anybody, you know, nobody's really safe here, technically speaking. But what if perhaps, if we're all here pondering, like, what if perhaps these God skins were given to these, like, maybe a couple people, maybe two or three people or four people, maybe just two people? What if they were given to these two people, and those two people have these skins on, can't get them off, they're untouchable? I mean, by anybody on earth, they in a sense, they're completely safe. They're made safe by the God skins, right? Even those God skins, technically, I mean, could perhaps be used to defeat angels and stuff like this. Who knows? Perhaps. That's what we're pondering. So, what if that is the case? What if there's two individuals, one of them is fighting on the side of good, right? And it's been doing so for generations after generations after generations. I don't know if the people died away necessarily, how it works, because they had the God skins, but they hand them down, the God skins, to whatever, to one person. All right, that person becomes, you know, in a sense, untouchable. They realize they're untouchable. And so they're just going to go for it, whatever they want. Because whatever they want is at their disposal. We're talking about just two people, maybe. All right, there might be more. But two people, they could do whatever. It does not matter. They are untouchable. They have the God skins. Nobody's going to do anything to stop them from what they're doing. There are no consequences. All right, so let's imagine a situation if we're just pondering, like, with, you got one's good, one's evil out in this world, and there are people who actually exist right now, got the God skins on. They're untouchable. Imagine they're waging a war against each other, because I guess for some reason they can't even hurt each other. All right, so they're waging a war against each other in like a good or evil kind of a way. Now, this could be happening literally, this could be happening metaphorically, this could be happening all sorts of different ways. But let's imagine this happening. Completely untouchable people out there, and they're waging a war against each other, in a sense, against each other's principles. And meanwhile, the whole world, we're talking about billions of people, are caught up in it, can't get out of it. We're just in the arena, and we got a battle of a century going on and stuff, man. It's just a battle going on all around us. All right, this is what gives us this anxiety. This is what gives us this tension and stuff. This is what causes a divide. Perhaps we're just pondering, but perhaps this causes the divide and stuff. And at a certain point, you got to choose what side you're going to be on, because this really is a war between two fellas in God skins, or maybe it's a lady. Who knows who's wearing these God skins? Meanwhile, I do want to point out that it all sounds kooky to some people, certainly, all right? But think about, for example, the British royalty, which I know a lot of people love. Like, if you love fairy tales and stuff like that, if you love Disney fairy tales, more than likely you're going to adore the British royal family. It's weird, but it's a weird coincidence, isn't it? You're probably gonna like them just because you like looking at them, just because you like pretending that they're little dolls in a dollhouse and stuff for you, and they look all pretty and this and that. Might do that. It's weird to think that lots of times these people are kind of inbred. You know what I'm saying? They're marrying their cousins or maybe their distant cousins. That's just what they do. They're trying to. It's weird, but they're trying to keep their bloodline pure. That's what they're concentrating on. Their blood. They want to become so pure and stuff that they keep even breeding with each other and stuff. And we're supposed to look away and just not even notice that, and just the weird scandals around that whole thing. It's very scandalous. We're supposed to look away and stuff. Meanwhile, they're trying to make their bloodline so pure. And meanwhile, I don't even think it matters very much in consideration with Godskins. I mean, it's like I don't know what they're trying to do, trying to keep the bloodline. Like perhaps they got some sort of divine bloodline, and if they just keep it pure, then they can. It's like they think that they can create the Godskins. Not really. Maybe the Godskins are already out there, and it has nothing to do with y'all's inbreeding and stuff like that. Maybe that's disgusting. All right, but we're all up in the tribulation. These are just some ponderings. What if? What if there's Godskins out there, man? What if there's Godskins people and they're just battling it out, man? What if we're all just part of it? What if we got to choose sides? I don't know. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It's June the 5th, 2018.